I told y'all the video was coming. I told y'all the video was coming. Hey, yo, I am back again with another video. If you're new here, hi. My name is Willa Ray. You can follow me on all of my social media platforms at just Willa Ray. Alright, I ain't gonna hold y'all too much. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all what this video is about. We are going to be doing a deep dive on the character Sweet Ramir. Sweet deserves her own video. Without me, well, I'm gonna have to mention the other characters, but Sweet deserves her own video. Y'all deserve a deep dive on Sweet Ramir, and so I'm gonna give it to you in this video. So let's go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead and do it. So I'm gonna start off with explaining Sweet's name again, just in case anybody new comes across this video and you're new to me and you're new to my book Sweetness. Sweetness is on Wattpad. You can read it for free. You can read it for free, baby. Let's start talking about her name, Sweet Ramir. Alright, so how did Sweet get the name Sweet? So Sweet got the name from her mother, Charity. When she was born, Charity looked down at her and said, "My sweet baby," and she named her Sweet. Ramir actually comes from me, which my middle name is Ramar, but I did not want to give her, I didn't want her to be called Sweet Ramar. I did not want that. That didn't sound right to me. But while I was typing, Ramir came out and it sounded good, and I like the way it sounds. Sweet Ramir. I like the way it sounds. She does not have a middle name. I just like the way it sounds. So how I got the middle name Ramar, I'm not gonna tell y'all my full government name. My road circle, they know my government name because of some stuff I told them about a month ago. But so how I got the name Ramar is actually pretty interesting. So my friends, excuse me, my parents were friends with this prophet from down in Florida. This was like years ago, y'all, years ago. And he used to write them letters, and things that he would put in the letter would happen. His name was Ramar. So the last time my parents talked to him, I was born by that time, and they told him that I wasn't, I have his name as my middle name. And so he told my parents, because I had his name as my middle name, that I would forever be blessed. So that's how I got the name Ramar. That's how the name Sweet Ramir came about. So Sweet Ramir is actually in her late 20s. I'm in my late 20s. I just turned 29 in June. So Sweet Ramir is like 28, 29, around that age range. So you can call her a late bloomer or whatever the case may be. So we're going to put that out there. Sweet Ramir is not a teenager. Sweet is not a teen. You can call her late bloomer, whatever the case may be. It took her a minute to grow. It took her a minute to step into her womanhood because she was so sheltered as a child and as a teenager. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how that's relevant to me, because I was sheltered heavily, and my mom still tries to shelter me now, but I mean, it don't work now because I've done a lot of healing work and whatever the case may be. But my parents were very strict. They didn't let me go to a lot of places. I had friends, but we didn't really hang out outside of school, or if I did 4-H and like went to 4-H events and they happened to be there. School dances and stuff I wasn't allowed to go to. I remember sometimes my teachers would have to call my parents or send a letter home or something saying like, "Hey, look, she's doing real good in school. Like, she's a real good student. We really don't have no problems with her. Like, let her come to the dance. Let her have fun." Like, I remember stuff like that. Like, I remember I could only have my phone on the weekends, especially if my grades weren't like up to par. I couldn't have my phone on the weekends. Oh, what else? I wasn't allowed to go on dates or anything like that. Never really went on a real date before. 29 years old. Never really went on a real date before. Have I had relationships? Yeah, but never really went on a real date. Never really had anyone to officially ask me to be their girlfriend. It's more of like, we've been dealing with each other for this long, we together now. But no one has ever really officially asked me that. This is in my past. This is in my past. Now, keep in mind, y'all, this is in my past. This is stuff I've healed from. I'm 29 years old. Like, just keep that in mind, okay? Because I don't want to get the comments like, oh my God, what? Look, I don't feel no type of way about it now. I feel like with the way things are now, everything in my life is being divinely guided, and everything happened that way for a reason. And I feel like a lot of it was protection, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. So Sweet was really heavily sheltered. So also too, she was kind of seen as being kind of weird, kind of strange. And anybody know the whole thing about the small town mentality? That is very real. A lot of people that lives in a small town and never really experienced the world, anybody that seems a little different or seems like they're kind of meant to break out of that mentality or break away from that small town, they're kind of looked down upon or frowned upon. Like, I don't know about that girl over there. She kind of weird. They're kind of looking at you funny. Kind of look at you, turn up your nose. You know, you wear colorful hair or you wear colorful eyeshadow or something. Something is wrong. I mean, even with me doing this straight blonde hair, something that said, you know, because it's different, it's out of the ordinary, it's not something that they're used to or they don't see every day, or it's not something that they would do themselves, so they deem it as, oh, that don't look good on you, or that you know, you feel me, I feel like y'all feel me. But yeah, so that's kind of the things that Sweet was dealing with in White Rose. So White Rose is a mirror of my hometown, which I'm not going to disclose. If you read my book and you read the poem that I included at the end, you know my hometown. I'm not going to say it in this video, but okay. So yeah, so it's kind of a mirror of that. Sweet is basically me. That's me all day long. So even though I'm talking about her, it's kind of a deep dive on myself as well, and the things that I've endured, had to heal from, and things like that. Now I want to also talk about Sweet's fashion choices in book 1, where she wears a lot of pinks and a lot of whites. Towards the end, she starts wearing yellow. And you know, for that dance, she wore the black lace dress. So in the South, and especially me growing up, I used to I went through a phase of wearing like different kind of dresses and stuff, because I associated dresses with femininity. So I associated dresses with it. So I wore a lot of dresses. My favorite color is pink. I really like pink, and you know, pink and white. And I do work with the goddess Aphrodite as well. So she's definitely an inspiration when it comes to me, like doing the things with the pinks and the whites and stuff like that. So she's definitely an inspiration when it comes to that. I literally have a statue of her, like right here. Maybe one day I'll give y'all a room tour, but for right now, yeah. But yeah, I literally have a statue of Aphrodite right here. But yeah. So yeah. But that the whole of her wearing so many dresses in book 1 was to symbolize how, you know, it's a church belief that women shouldn't wear anything pertaining to, like, that pertains to a man. So women shouldn't like wear pants and stuff like that. So it's kind of symbolic towards that, but it's also symbolic to her idea of femininity at the time before she, you know, grew or whatever the case may be. Then towards the end, she's wearing a yellow crop top with ripped jeans. So it's kind of like that. That's why. But Sweet is the type of character. Sweet is the type of person that she doesn't need anyone to save her, because she would rather save herself. Like, she's so used to doing things on her own. She's so used to being by herself that when help comes around, she doesn't really trust the help, because she's had people help her, family help her, so-called friends help her, but then they throw it in her face later, or they somehow use it against her later. So that's why, you know, you see Sweet so independent, or so much in her independence already, because she really didn't have a choice. Sweet growing up was everybody's like emotional support person. Even to her parents venting to her, and Sweet is like 6 years old. Her parents are venting to her about different things, and stuff that she shouldn't know about, stuff that her parents should be talking to amongst themselves, stuff that her siblings should be sharing with other people, and whatever the case may be. And again, that's stuff that I've been through, right? Sweet's connection to the spirit world and Sweet's connection to the church. And the reason why Sweet never really walked away from the church is because the church is within her bloodline. And whether people want to realize it or not, people practice witchcraft in the church. Witchcraft is everywhere. It's everywhere. You can't escape it. I mean, there are people that are in the church that do things that are hoodoo and don't even realize it was hoodoo. Hell, my great-grandmother comes to me in my dreams and tell me to read certain psalm passages and burn this candle and write this on a piece of paper, or whatever the case may be. And before I got more enlightened in my journey, I did not know I was doing hoodoo until later. I didn't know it was called that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't figure that out until later now. So hoodoo is very important in Sweetness Book 1. Because it's a closed practice, and because how could I put this in a way that don't sound mean? Because it's a closed practice, and because it's special to Black people, I don't really specifically say it in the book, and I don't talk about specific remedies or specific spells or anything like that. And that's done on purpose. Now, I know in book 2 I talk about the honey jars, but I don't really discuss how she really truly uses the honey jars, or what the honey jars are actually for. But it's kind of like a shout out to the honey jars. So people that are into Southern spirituality and they read it, they be like, oh, this girl knows some stuff. She know, I know what she talking about. I know what she using this for. I know what she means. So yeah, it's kind of that's why I included that there, because I that's why I included that there. I know another thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to Sweet is Sweet. I shared with y'all that Sweet is a virgin, but I also need to let y'all know that because Sweet is really freshly stepping into her womanhood, you guys are gonna really see that there's a lot of things that like people that could grow up a certain way have experienced that she has not. Sweet has never been to a sleepover, which that's not a problem, because with the way stuff going on nowadays, sleepovers Sweet, again, never hung out with her friends or anything like that. Never been on a real date. Sweet always been queer. I just want y'all to know that. Even when she had boyfriends and things like that, Sweet always knew she was queer. I'm giving y'all a little heads up and a little tidbit that Sweet's mother does not know she's queer. Sweet's mother does not know that. Sweet mother has assumed that in the past, but Sweet mother does not know that she is queer. Just like my mother doesn't know that I'm queer, but that's another topic for another day. I am being very open in this video, more open than I have been in the past. Excuse me. More open than I have been in the past. I'll tell you that. Y'all learning about Willa Ray through Sweet. I'm telling you. So Sweet is a jack of all trades, master of none. Well, master of some, I should say, because yeah. But what I will say is that she's a Gemini. So in the book I did include her birthday as being June 8th. I wanted to say the same birthday as me, but I wanted her birthday to kind of match Ocean's. And I didn't want to say September 11th, because y'all know what happened on September 11th. I didn't want to include that in the book. So I said September 8th. And then I said September 8th and then June 8th. I used the number 8 because all the infinity symbols, because they're meant for each other. They are infinity, together forever, whatever the case may be. But Also too, September 8th is very close to who the person that Ocean is based off of. September 8th is very close to their birthday, and I'll leave it at that. So it was fitting. It was fitting. So yeah. But back to Sweet. So Sweet, the whole thing about her being able to dance. She's actually a really good dancer. I'm actually a really good dancer, y'all. I don't post enough about me dancing, but I'm that type of person in a party setting. Everybody is crowding around me and I'm in the middle turning up. Like, that's me. Y'all probably don't believe that. Y'all probably don't see that side of me often, but that's me. That is me. Also too, in regards to my girl Sweet, y'all, she really don't like being around a lot of people like that. Even though she talks to people, even though she, has this career now, and Sweet likes being in her own energy, like by herself. It's because of the way she grew up. Everything goes back to her childhood, which she is healing. She is healing. Healing is not linear. Healing is something that you'll probably be doing while you're on this 3D realm. Probably in other realms too. Healing is a process. Anybody says that they're fully healed and they don't have nothing to heal, please side eye that person. Please. People that believe that they can manifest their healing away and don't have to do no type of work, whether it's therapy, whether it's shadow work, whatever they see fit to help them get through to what they get through, to help them be a better person, please side eye that person. Maybe you need to get away from them as well. Because you can't just say, oh, my trauma is gone. You just keep telling yourself that, oh, my trauma is gone. My trauma is gone. And think that you're going to say the affirmation that your trauma is gone. Trauma is gone. And then that's it. When you're not unpacking it or doing therapy or doing whatever it is that you feel fit for you to get through your trauma. You can't just say, depending on what you've been through, you ain't gonna just wake up one day and be like, oh, I don't feel it no more. Because I'm telling you, something is gonna happen. Somebody's gonna do something, say something, is gonna trigger the hell out of you. Okay? Just saying. And I'm talking from experience, y'all. I've experienced some crazy stuff. I've experienced some different crazy kind of people. I've experienced some crazy ass spiritual mentors and everything of that nature. And believe me when I tell y'all, please, I'm getting off track, but please, 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 use your discernment when listening to these folks online talking about this stuff. These folks that keep telling you that an ex is coming back, somebody is watching you, twin flame, soulmate, diggity, diggity, bong, bong. Please, my God, please use your discernment. If something don't feel right, it ain't right. Everybody that read messages ain't meant for you. Everybody that has a tarot deck in their hand or oracle deck and got a wrap on their head and got bangles up to here does not mean that they are good or they are a high priestess or whatever the case may be. It don't mean that. It don't mean that. Please don't be fooled by the looks. Please don't be fooled by it. Use your discernment, use your heart, use your intuition, and use your ancestors and your spirit team to guide you to the right people. I'm telling you. I've been through some stuff and seen some stuff. Use your discernment, y'all, please. Because what I've been through and what I experienced, I really don't want nobody else to go through it. I really don't. But anyway, so I feel like this video is all over the place. I probably should have wrote some points down in regards to Sweet, but I feel like I'm just up here talking about myself because she is me. She is me. She healed herself. She did her shadow work. She was alone. She took on and said, okay, I'm going to heal. I'm not going to wait for nobody to come save me. And I didn't wait for nobody to come save me. I didn't. I did the whole... And the thing about it is, Sweet is a feminist, for one. So let's get that out. Sweet is a feminist. Y'all will see that more in book 2 about the way she stands up for women and children. Sweet actually loves children. Giving y'all a little tidbit, Sweet really does want to be a mom, regardless of what she says or regardless of how she feels. Sweet wants to be a mother. She does. But not for her own selfish reasons. She just feel like she would be good at it. And I keep pausing because I hear like something like in this side right here, like somebody is just really telling me what to say. I'm not saying that, okay? But but yeah. So I don't think I'm gonna make this video too long. What else I want to say about Sweet is that Sweet is the character that I wish I had growing up. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it had to be horror related, but Sweet was a character that I wish I would have had. If I would have I know we're in a time where there are a lot of black writers getting recognition and black writers, writing things and different kind of things that show us in a different light. But a lot of characters that are written, I don't see myself in. They may look similar to me sometimes, or whatever the case may be, but I never seen, especially in horror, a black female character that was the one that was overlooked. Isn't really considered the final girl because it was always her because she was chosen. So this character, this book is really important to me because I'm healing through it. But not only that, it's something that I wish I would have had to read or to look up to when I was growing up. Because I talked about this with my Rose Circle in regards to the horror movies that I grew up watching. When I was younger, I didn't have, when I was growing up, I didn't have, Jordan Peele and all that stuff like that. There was, Rob Zombie, Stephen King, of course. Things like that. A lot of the times, the people my color would get killed first. Or they were always in horror film. They were always, the side character or the friend of the main character. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that I remember. And even down to one of my favorite horror films, which is Haunted House on the Hill. I like the old version with Vincent Price, and I like the new version in 1998, 1999. I think I like the 1998, 1999 better. And the only reason why I like it better is because I watched it a lot as a kid. But I love horror films or horror movies that connect stuff back to history and things like that. There's a horror movie that I know online is rated very, very low, but it's called Death's Door. And the reason why I liked it is because of the plot of the people in the story are in the movie are connected back to a curse or whatever the case may be, but the magician is their ancestor and stuff like that. But yeah, I like stuff that's connect back to history and things like that. So yeah, I don't even really know if this video is really a deep dive on Sweet or what, but I'm gonna post it anyway and label it as that. And y'all, I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope y'all enjoy this video. Next time, I think when I do deep dives, I'm gonna stick to writing down points, because when I don't write down points, I go all over the place with these videos. I don't know, I feel like a part of me feels like y'all enjoy when I do that though. Comment below if you made it this far. Comment a rose and comment whether or not you enjoyed this. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I love y'all so much, and until next time, peace.